The Milwaukee Brewers are forced into an impossible decision as the lineup change comes with tomorrow. We have multiple updates regarding what's going on with the Brewers, what this lineup could look like into the NLCS, but there are multiple things that Pat Murphy has come out and said that is going to be a major challenge heading in to this series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to be breaking it all down here on this video. Before we do jump into it, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you one favor, and that's if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button. Join me here on the channel. We're covering everything Milwaukee Brewers every day. You won't want to miss it. As we head into tomorrow, our first game of the NLCS comes. We will also be getting our roster. I'll be having a video out on that when it's official, but today, right now, we have a lot of information regarding what is going to be happening. So let's get straight into this. And overall, I want to touch on the game first just a little bit, because in this game, we got a very good idea of not just what this Brewers team is going to be doing or looking like in the NLCS, but also what players are going to be more of a heavy feature than what we originally anticipated. And I want to jump straight in, obviously looking at this, 3 home runs, 3 runs, winning this game 3-1. A huge game for this team. There was no signs the Brewers were losing this game. You saw the energy. You saw the way this team is playing, the mindset for this team. Miz coming out again, doing phenomenal. Home run on the second pitch, but he came in and was lights out after that. A lot of good stuff coming from this, and this was a game that you saw early on. Didn't look like it was going to be high scoring, but we knew the Brewers had a very good chance here. But going into this, the pitching was the big thing. Opening with Trevor McGill, as I did put in the comments of yesterday's video when it was all announced, made the video before and came out official, about as I clicked ending the recording. But you saw Mizorowski here, 4 innings, 3 hits, that 1 home run. Aaron Ashby, Chad Patrick, Abner Uribe, and of course Trevor McGill opening the game. We saw some phenomenal stuff, and having this game come in like this, having your top guys and also a lot of rookies come in, was something that a lot of people were a little bit hesitant on throughout the game. Trevor McGill starting, I love the idea. I mentioned that in the video prior. I can't remember if it was for last game or in Game 4, but going into this game now and up to, the game tomorrow, but also the entire series, we're going to be getting a lot of interesting looks, especially on the pitching side of things, as Pat Murphy's kind of come out to it that, hey, this is a two-game longer series than what we just played, and they're going to be having a lot of interesting looks on the pitching side of things. I'm going to kind of jump into what he means by this here in a moment, but I think that right now, looking at how this game translated, and if it will continue straight out of this game, the pitching has been very good, and you're going to need the hitting to still step up a little bit more, especially against the Los Angeles Dodgers team, who at every single, facet of their game is incredibly deep. But this is not something that we have not seen before from this team. This Brewers team can go up against anybody. We've seen a lot of wins against any team here in the MLB, and, whatever they're holding, whatever they're throwing at the Brewers, they're able to come out here and challenge that in a very successful fashion. And even with this team having a lot of non-big name players, a lot of average Joes is, the best way of putting it, you see them come into this game. And I mean, in this whole series and game, you see this from Kurt Hogg really exemplifies how important they've been to not just the Brewers themselves, but this entire roster going from AAA Nashville down, throughout the entire organization. And Chad Patrick's outing last night was not only worth 0.24 win percentage probably added, it was also worth 5.6% to the Brewers championship win percent added per Baseball Reference. The Brewers NLDS roster championship WPA leaders were Chad Patrick, 6.6. Andrew Vaughn, 4.7. Miz, 4.5. Uribe, 3.6. And Contreras, 2%, as well as also having that 5.6 from Chad Patrick in last night's game. So this is an absolutely huge thing to kind of see when it comes down to facing a team like the Dodgers, where you have a lot of big names on that team, a lot of players that are always going to be good. They have the money to spend. They're going to do it. They're going to buy their way to a championship. But when you have a team like this with the Brewers, where you have a lot of small names, you see the trade that got Andrew Vaughn here, how much that has mattered to this team, even at this point in the series, or the season, It just goes to show that there's levels to, deserving to win, how the teams perform under certain situations. In the spotlights of LA, with the amount of people, you may think that your role is insignificant, but that on the Brewers does not fly. Everybody's role has a major significance to getting the team to this point. So I think this is just a very cool thing to pull up, and I mean, looking at this, in a graph, I guess, or like with the percentages, it really kind of goes to show how important a lot of these players have been to this team. So I want to know what you guys think about that. But Pat Murphy today did speak out, and of course, actually moments ago, had his press conference going into tomorrow's game. He's given multiple updates, and we now have a lot of ideas of what's going to be the plan going with the roster and a lineup heading into the NLCS. I first want to start off with this. Woodruff spoke to the media this morning. Brewers insider Adam McCalvy reported that Woodruff has not been playing catch yet, so it is very unlikely he makes the postseason roster for this series. And this is, once again, a huge loss. Obviously, Brandon Woodruff has been so important to this organization, not even just this season, but his entire career here. And you want to see him in these scenarios. He's absolutely deserved it. But this just gives the Brewers another opportunity to go out here, win this series, get to the World Series, and make sure Brandon Woodruff gets back. He's spoken about and saying that, he's done everything he can. He's been trying to get better and better, and he is improving, but still has just not gotten to that point yet. So that is a huge loss continuing on to the NLDS, especially a veteran like him going up against the Dodgers team that is a lot, I don't want to say better than what we've seen in the past, but has a lot more options from what we've seen in the past from this team. Now, regardless of the regular season stats against the Dodgers, that don't matter because the postseason is a completely different game. You can keep it in your mind, but that will get your hopes up for something that may happen or whatnot. I just don't like to think of it, especially now heading into this series with a much, more improved roster now that we are even throughout the middle of the season where you're getting a lot of people playing their best ball and a lot of players knowing the significance this is having on not just Milwaukee, but also just, this organization, this fan base. So that's a big thing going into it. So huge loss, but hopefully they can go out here, get to the World Series so we can get him back here on this team. But multiple more updates have come out. Pat Murphy says the opener for Game 1 could be Quinn Priester or Jose Quintana, providing bulk, after that for Game 1. Big thing there, an opener going with Jose Quintana or Quinn Priester, not necessarily giving them a lot of innings. Probably 2 to 3 would be the max, I would say, for an opener here. But Freddy Peralta for Game 2 and the reassess after that. Roster-wise, looks like more relievers who can provide length this series than last series. And that also comes with what Pat Murphy had to say, where this is going to be 2 more games than what they played last series, no matter what, the maximum. So they need to have pitchers that can go for length, go for multiple games in a row, and also be able to kind of go in any scenario. And I think we've been pretty lucky with that thus far in the NLDS, especially with what we had seen here in this last game with McGill, Miz, Uribe, Chad Patrick, Ashby. We had some more pitchers that could have gone in this game, but it worked out perfectly here in this instance. So, going back to the way that this plans out, having Quintana, Priester as openers, being able to use them and again, the next day if needed, I think it's going to be a big thing going forward with Pat Murphy here and the way that he's structuring this team. Now, we do have a quote here from Bryce Duran, kind of speaking about all of this on the Brewers and Dodgers series. He said, "It's the belief in each other, the belief in yourself that got us here. It's not looking at the payroll and making excuses for it. Like, this is what we've got. This is who we are." And that's him speaking on this Brewers and Dodgers series, the kind of David and Goliath matchup that we have really been kind of compared to here in this series. And I think that this is the entire mindset of the team. The payroll thing has been something that everybody has been speaking about since we won this game last night, where it's like, hey, you're looking at the Dodgers, what they have. You're looking at this Brewers lineup and the organization as a whole and their kind of payroll. There's going to be levels to this. And of course, when it comes down to it, it's not all about the money. It's about the desire to win. It's about the drive. And I think the Brewers do have that compared to a team like the Dodgers, who a lot of guys got a payday and they're out. So this is a big thing I think I want to see from this Brewers team. And one more update that we do have on this once again is continuing on the pitching side of things. And the Brewers have not yet settled on their NLCS roster breakdown, but it sounds like they're leaning towards keeping the 14 position players, 12 pitchers again. That means they'll need as many length options as possible and probably means some different pitching choices. So, like I said, the opener for a guy like Jose Quintana or Quinn Priester is definitely a bit interesting when it comes down to it. As good as we've seen them both be this year, you want to try and get as much as you can out of them, but the fact that you're opening gives them the opportunity to go maybe a couple days in a row if needed. Let's just say a game 1, 2, and 3 for whoever does end up starting in this first game as an opener. It just allows this team to have many different options, not rely on anyone in specific every single game. Whether or not, we see Trevor McGill as an opener once again, whether we see him even close a game. I think there's lots of options here, and whether we see Abner Uribe close out every game, or even maybe opener come out here in like a 6th or 7th inning in a get out situation, I guess we could say. I'm excited to see how this does work out. The nerves are still there, but I mean, getting to this point and looking at where we are, I'm very excited just to see how this Brewers team responds to all kind of the critical people thinking that, it's the Dodgers, they're invincible, because we know they are not whatsoever. Now, when it comes to this as well, there are a few more pitchers that can be provided in this lineup, and I mean, this is a big one. Logan Henderson has rejoined the team after spending the past week in Arizona throwing. He's a possible option for the NLCS, that is, from Adam McCalvy, actually, and Mizorowski start is also possible. So this is a big kind of revelation that we saw Mizorowski go 3 and 4 innings respectively in his 2 appearances in the NLDS. Now having the trust that he has, a starting option for him, starting out hot, 104, 105s, having those throw and set the tone in a game is also a big thing, not just for success in the game, but also the mindset that this team is going to be coming in with to these games. So I'm excited to see how this does actually work out, especially now with this plan, and with also the Game 1 plan. We now know who will be going up against this Brewers team. Bob Nightingale tweeted this out. Blake Snell will be the starter for Game 1 for the Dodgers. This is a big thing. His playoff success has not been overall, the best we've seen in his career, but regardless of the situation, like I said, the postseason's a different game. His success does not matter whether it's the regular season, the postseason. He is a phenomenal pitcher, and they're still going to have to work to get to him early. So, a lot of updates here. We're going to have another update tomorrow, a video coming out tomorrow morning, afternoon, whenever the roster gets set. I can't remember the exact time in the day that the roster needs to be set, but as games are coming soon, they have to be prepared. They got to be ready. The roster has to be out, so we're going to have an update on that, as well as more information from Pat Murphy's press conference, and as well as quotes coming out tomorrow when there's a few more questions being asked. But like I said, that's all I got here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. Let me know what you think about these roster moves heading in to the NLCS. But like I said, we're going to have to wait until tomorrow. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.